Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name's Rebecca. This practice today is about slowing down, about grounding through the soles of your feet and letting the earth remind you you are held. Malasana, the Yogi Squat, draws us inward. It helps us release what we've been carrying and gently digest what life has given us, body, mind, and spirit. In this quiet shape, we return to ourselves not by effort, but by softening, by listening, by simply being. Let this practice be a homecoming into your breath, your body, and the wisdom that waits in the stillness. We'll begin in a seat. If you would like a block for underneath your sits bones, or simply have a block nearby, might use it later in practice. Find that comfortable seat, long spine, grounded hips, and softening that gaze. Begin to deepen your breath. Think of your in-breath as the accelerator on a car. It enlivens us. It gives energy, and the exhale is the brake. It's the slowing down. And this practice is about stepping into the stillness and slowing down. We'll take the arms, relax them down along your sides. Exhale the breath out. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Fill yourself up. Exhale, slow it down. So even slower than the in-breath. Pressing palms down through center. It's one of my favorite grounding breaths. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift and enliven. Exhale, slow it down, slower than the inhale. Really letting that exhale wash over you. 1 more round. Inhale. Exhale. Relax the arms for a moment, keeping the eyes closed. Follow your in-breath and your out-breath. And let this be your guide, the breath, to keep bringing you back into your body, into this practice, into this moment. And we'll gently flutter the eyes open, and just moving through the neck, side to side, half circles. You could gaze right, left, you could take it up and down. You could even do full circles. Noticing what is right for you. Trusting your experience, your sensation. I am here merely facilitating and making suggestions. It is your job to listen to your experience, to pay attention, and really trust what your body is telling you, where you're at. Bringing the head back to neutral. Take your hands onto your shoulders in big circles. Drawing elbows toward one another and then pulling them apart. Bringing the head forward and back for these circles. Reverse. Bring your hands to an interlace. Press the palms forward, rounding through upper back. Tuck the tailbone. Inhale, rise and lengthen. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand on the outside of right knee, right arm comes behind. All these gentle movements prepare our bodies. Reminding ourselves that we're not rushing or forcing anything in this practice. We are not running away from trying to fix or escape. It's just breath and stillness. Unwind, interlace the hands once again. Find a little seated cat pose. Inhale, rise and lengthen. Twist to the left. I know it's hard to slow down, and we live in a very extroverted 24/7 society. Sometimes we just need to unplug from the distractions, the sights, the smells, the sounds, and come back to the sound of our breath, the rhythm of our heartbeat. Unwind through center. Set your block off to the side. If you propped the hips up, take your feet out in front of you, knees bent, feet are wide. We're just going to do some 90-90s, preparing our hips. When we are working with squat, it is hips, ankles, the dorsiflexion in the foot. It's the inner thighs, the adductors, and hamstrings, glutes, and the thoracic spine, which is where the ribs attach to the spine. 12 vertebrae in the center. Drop those knees over to the right. Bring your hands slightly forward, a little hinge in the torso. And we're gonna play with the external rotation of the left leg. I want you to ground through the inner edge of left foot. Gently lift and lower that left leg. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Turn toward the right side of your mat. Let's find a pigeon variation. We just have a really loose posture with the legs as we hinge and fold. Bringing your awareness to the exhale, that break, the pause. Let the exhale remind you to slow down. Listen. Notice what's showing up physically. And even mentally, but we want to think about those thoughts as just like moving through us, floating by like clouds. Let the thoughts come and go. You know, the posture of Malasana, for me, I've always thought of it as a peak posture in yoga because it's so good for digestion and grounding. It's good for foot and ankle mobility, hips, knees. For digestion alone, it puts the pelvis in an optimal position to release and to let go. It is one of my go-to postures. I will get in a squat when I'm greeting my dogs. If I'm going to be on social media, I need to be able to hold the squat for as long as I scroll, so it's usually 5 to 10 minutes. And then when I need to get up, I'm done. I'm done with the scrolling. But it's amazing what it does in the morning to just get the digestion going. Take another couple of deep breaths here. And let's rise and release and take the knees over to the left. Let's take them over to the right, moving them side to side. Next time, keep them over to the left. We're going to take the hands over to the left, slight hinge in the torso. And then we're going to press into the inner edge of right foot, lift and lower the knee. Our abductors and adductors. External rotation for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your hands over to the left, soften and fold. You might stay high, you might drop down onto your forearms, you might use your block. And this is just very loose pigeon shape for the hips. Bring your awareness to the in-breath, and especially to that out-breath. Think about slowing it down, using the brakes. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Slowly rise. Wide-angled forward fold. Take your feet wide, so straddle position. Think about trying to keep your second and third toes in line with your knees, and notice what's happening with the feet. The feet give us an indication of internal or external rotation. So if the big toes are dropping in, that's a sign of internal rotation. If they're dropping out, that's external. If you can, try to bring it somewhere in between, a neutral position for the foot so it's directed up toward the ceiling and that your knees are directed up toward the ceiling. And then from here, let's begin with an active stretch, taking the hands behind the back, shoulder blades draw toward the spine. This restricts the rounding in the upper back, but requires us to use a little bit more leg strength, activation through the muscles, the quads, the inner thighs, the outer thighs, depending on what's happening with internal and external rotation in our legs. You could keep it right here or take the hands forward and make it a passive stretch. We're going to do the other variation after this from standing to give ourselves a little perspective on how it feels when we are grounding through our feet versus our hips. I want you to pay attention to sensation here, especially the backs of the legs, the muscles along your spine, particularly the low back. What is your relationship with this pose, whether you love it or you hate it? And I would suggest that you just soften around the judgments, the expectations, letting go of resistance. As those thoughts, literally, whether we love or hate, will just create resistance. Three deep breaths. Maybe find a little more depth. This is one of those postures I find I don't like to rush, and I tend to slowly soften into versus trying to get to my edge right at the beginning. checking in with your own experience. Slowly rise, bring the legs back together. Before we come to our wide-legged fold on our feet, come onto your back and we're gonna take a happy baby. So this is our Malasana shape, upside down. We've got our spine, our hips are supported, and we're playing with this stretch. Soles of the feet up toward the ceiling, and you can grab inner or outer edges. You could grab at your ankles or your shins. Hips are heavy, shoulders grounded, back of the head supported. You are held here. Simply notice and observe where sensation is more intense or less intense. How does it feel having the feet lifted toward the sky versus bearing weight on the feet? A couple of rounds of active hip flexion. Release the hands off the feet and hold the shape here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then use the hands. Let it be passive. Notice what lights up when you release the hands. The muscles start to engage versus you assisting with the hands holding the feet. Okay, one more time. Release, hold the shape for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands back. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll up to a seat, and we're gonna make our way to that wide-legged forward fold. Step out to the long edge of your mat. You could do this toward the top of your mat, however you want to do it. Feet are wider than hips width distance. Feet are parallel, and then we hinge and fold, dropping the top of the head down toward the floor. Or maybe you're in a half lift. You could even take blocks or a block underneath the head to support it, or under the hands if they don't reach. Bringing a little more weight into your big toe mounds so that the hips stack between the ankles. Any arm variations welcome here. Notice and observe. This is our straddle, but now the feet are grounded. Notice what changes. I feel a deeper stretch in the back of my legs. I feel less pressure at my sacrum, my tailbone, the base of the spine. Because we've got gravity working with us in a different way here. Notice and observe. It's really what yoga is, a practice of awareness, a practice of connection, and part of that is being the observer, stepping out of that critical, judgmental mind. And that is also what somatics is all about. We start to pay attention to sensation and feeling versus our thoughts and our ideas around postures, like what's right, what's wrong, I'm too old, I'm not flexible enough. Whatever that is judgment and criticism. The invitation is to feel and sense versus judge and criticize. That's really the homecoming, coming home to our true selves. Not the distractions in the mind, the voice, the roommate, the busyness. All right, and then come to a half lift. Slowly walk your hands forward. I'm going to grab my blocks. I might use our block in this next part of our sequence. Lunge pose. We're going to begin by working on the dorsiflexion of the foot. So your back knee comes down. Drive your right knee as far forward as you can, but keep your heel grounded. No cheating here. It's not going to help with the dorsiflexion if you lift the heel. If it means that the knee has to go back a little bit to keep that heel grounded, that is what I would suggest you do. Pressing that knee forward, and then let it go back. We'll do a little flossing here of the hips and this dorsiflexion in the ankle. Next time you've got that knee forward, hold it, grounded heel, let those hips come forward and down. Deep breaths. Let yourself be really present with sensation here, the grounding through the foot, the deepening of the stretch. And then back that knee off, and you can bring it above the ankle. It could be slightly in front of the ankle. Take your block. I'm going to bring my right hand underneath the block and then reach this left arm up and over. Right heel is gently drawing back toward left knee. Left knee gently pulls forward. We've got this scissor action in the legs with the side bend. Try to keep that knee facing forward, not caving in or pressing out, but rather aligned with your second and third toes. We'll take this into a twist. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up toward the sky. Reach the right arm back, deepening the twist. 3 deep breaths. Release, unwind. I'm going to take my block with me, traveling through our wide-angled forward fold. Let's pause here for 3 deep breaths. Ground through your feet, hips high. Relax through head, neck, and shoulders. 1 more inhale and exhale. All right, to the back of the mat for the left foot. Send left knee forward of the toes or as far forward as you can, as long as that heel is grounded. Dorsiflexion of the foot. This is what helps keep our feet grounded in a squat. And then we'll do a little flossing here. Let the hips and the knee go back and then bring it forward. This is a way to reset the nervous system and let the body know that it's okay. It's okay to play with those edges. Of sensation. And this last one, we're going to hold that knee forward. Release. Knee over ankle, it could be slightly forward. Take that block if you want it underneath left hand, and then right arm reaches up and over. Left heel is gently drawing toward right knee. Right knee is pulling forward, so we've got our legs hugging and scissoring, supporting us. We're letting the right side be heavy as we reach right arm up and over, opening up through the ribs. Knee is directed toward our second and third toes on the left, not letting that knee drop in or press out. We're using both abductors and adductors, inner and outer thighs. And twist. Right hand comes down to the floor, left arm reaches up, and those hips come forward and down. Shoulder blades stack. Left arm reaches back. 3 deep breaths. Breathe into that twist, the release, the reset. All right, here we go. Final posture, yogis. It's our Yogi Squat. Feet are wider than hips with distance, sending those hips back and down. You could opt for another round of Happy Baby. If the heels are not touching down, you could roll up a towel. You could even roll up your mat so that the feet actually have something to ground into. You could use a block underneath your sits bones on the low or the medium. If you had 2 blocks, you could stack them. Notice, in order for us to be able to get down, look how much dorsiflexion we need in the feet. And I know this can be a challenge for a lot of people. It is easier with the toes out and the heels in. The Yogi Squat, especially if you're working toward a pistol squat, those toes need to be facing forward. I'm not suggesting that you need to do that here. I like to play with it personally in my practice because it adds a little element of intensity up the front sides of my legs, a little activation. Spine is long, the shoulders are drawing back. Allowing yourself to soften and release here, maybe even closing the eyes. This is where the real work begins. Remembering that you are held to digest what life is giving you, offering you, and returning to yourself. Coming home to your own innate internal wisdom. Through these grounded feet, this long supported spine, and the deep breath flowing in you, through you, around you. Take another couple of deep breaths. And gently release, bring it down. You might windshield wiper out those legs if there's any residual stiffness. And crossing the legs, closing the eyes, inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale as you press the palms down through center. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Final one. Hands to heart center. Thanks so much for joining me. Hariam Tat Sat.